Deep within the uncharted, number-choked wilderness known as the Polynomial Jungle lies an ancient ruin from the lost civilization of Algebria. Within the belly of its tomb lie an ancient treasure that can turn peasants into kings and kings into gods. Most wouldn't dare walk the treacherous paths of wild beasts, swinging axes, and rolling boulders. And the few that have tried failed to never tell the tale. Failed until one fateful day.
Ugh, what now?
I'm calling her. She'll help us get this over with.
Congrats for making it this far in the crazy world of algebra. Your job now is to factor quadratics. Let's begin. First, what is a quadratic? It's simply an expression or equation where the highest power of the variable degree is 2. The standard form or blueprint of a quadratic is ax squared plus bx plus c. X represents the unknown variable, and a, b, and c are the numbers, aka constants. Now, a major thing that has to be understood is that the a constant cannot be equal to 0. Why? Well, if a is 0, then the expression no longer has its highest power being 2. Therefore, it is no longer a quadratic. So, let's take a look at the first quadratic expression you're to factor, x squared plus 3x plus 2. In this case, a is equal to 1, b is equal to 3, and c is equal to 2. When a is equal to 1, the most basic way to factor a quadratic is to find two numbers that multiply to give c and add to give b. This right here is the absolute easiest method for factoring quadratics. So, let's look at number pairs that multiply together to give 2. In this case, the number pairs are 1 and 2, and -1 and -2. When each number pair is added together, you will find that 1 and 2 add to give us b, which is 3. Now that you have your numbers, what's next? Open up two sets of brackets like this and place the variable x inside each one. Each x represents the square root of x squared. In other words, that x times x is x squared. Now, take the two numbers and give each bracket set a number. Make sure you pay attention to the sign of that number. Since 1 and 2 are positive numbers, then one set of brackets gets +1 and the other set gets +2. And voila! Just like that, you have factored a quadratic. A key thing to notice is factoring quadratics is quite literally the opposite of expanding. So you can always see if you factored correctly by expanding. Alright, let's now factor the next expression, x squared minus 8x plus 15. What we have is a is equal to 1. This time, b is equal to -8 and c is equal to 15. Now we find two numbers that multiply to give 15 and add together to give -8. These are the number pairs that multiply to equal 15. Once added, you will find that -3 and -5 are the two number pairs that multiply to make 15 and add together to equal -8. Now that we have our two numbers, open up two sets of brackets and then put an x variable in each one. Then simply give each bracket set a number. Since both numbers are negative, the x variable will be subtracting the number. And now factoring is complete. X minus 3 times x minus 5 is the answer. Here we have x squared plus 3x minus 10. A is equal to 1, B is equal to 3, and C is equal to minus 10. Repeating the same process, we find the two numbers that multiply to give minus 10 and add to give 3. Here are the number pairs that multiply to give minus 10. When added, you will find that negative 2 and positive 5 equal 3. Therefore, those are our number pair. Open up bracket sets, put your x variable in each one, and then give each one a number. One will have a minus 2 and one will have a positive 5. And yet again, we have factored with an answer of x minus 2 times x plus 5. So far, so good? Great. Let's now look at this expression, x squared minus 16. You'll notice that it looks a bit different than the others. A is equal to 1, but now B is equal to 0, and C is equal to minus 16. If we added B into the expression, it would look like this. In this case, all we have to do is find two numbers that multiply to make minus 16 and add together to make 0. Here are all the number pairs that multiply to make minus 16. And here are the values they give when added. Based on adding to 0, the numbers are minus 4 and 4. Therefore, when factored, x squared minus 16 is equal to x minus 4 times x plus 4. X squared minus 16 is an expression that follows a rule called the difference of squares. It basically means that the x squared term is a perfect square, subtracting another term that is a perfect square. You simply take the square root of the x variable and the number and place each into a set of brackets. One number is going to be subtracted and the other is going to be added. It's a great shortcut to know, so you can skip all the excitement of finding all the number pairs. Say you have x squared minus 36. Since 36 is a perfect square, its square root is 6. Simply open up brackets, give each one an x, and one a positive 6 and the other a negative 6. See? Much faster than having to add all of that. Now, here we have the expression 2x squared plus 7x plus 6. A is equal to 2, B is equal to 7, and C is equal to 6. You might be wondering, but does the multiply to C and add to B method apply in this case? The short answer is no, since A is no longer equal to 1. If A is not equal to 1, a common method used to factor is called the AC method, or factoring by grouping. Here's how it works. Step 1. Multiply A and C. In this case, that's 2 times 6 to give us 12. Step 2. Next, find two numbers that multiply to make 12 and add together to make B, which is 7. When it comes to multiplying to 12, these are all the number pairs. Now when added, the pair we are looking for is 3 and 4. Step 3. Split the middle term. Rewrite the middle term by splitting it into two terms using the numbers that we found. So, 2x squared plus 7x plus 6 becomes 2x squared plus 4x plus 3x plus 6. Step 4. Factor by grouping. Now, group the first two terms and the last two terms in their own set of brackets, like this. Then, factor out the greatest common factor from each group. For 2x squared plus 4x, the greatest common factor is 2x. Divide both terms by 2x to get an answer of x plus 2. Now we find the greatest common factor for 3x plus 6. In this case, the greatest common factor is 3. Divide 3x and 6 by 3 to get x plus 2. As you can see, with the greatest common factors removed, both groups have a common binomial, which is x plus 2. Step 5. Factor out the common binomial. Now this step might look a bit tricky, but it's pretty much the same thing as factoring out what's in common. X plus 2 is the common binomial that we factor out by dividing both expressions by it. Once you divide out the x plus 2, that leaves us with 2x plus 3. And there you have it. When the common binomial is factored out, what remains is 2x plus 3. Therefore, the original expression factored is x plus 2 times 2x plus 3. If you're confused in any way, that's okay. That's normal. Just relax and practice. All right, last expression to get to the gold. Here we have 8x squared minus 10x minus 3. A is equal to 8, B is equal to minus 10, and C is equal to minus 3. Step 1, multiply A and C, which is 8 times minus 3, to give us minus 24. Step 2, now find two numbers that multiply to give minus 24 and add together to give B, which is minus 10. Here are the number pairs that multiply to minus 24. Once added in this case, you'll find the pair to be 2 and minus 12. Step 3, with the two numbers found, use them to split the middle term. So we go from this to that. Step 4. Now factor by grouping the first two terms together and the last two terms together in their own set of brackets. Just keep in mind to be careful of your signs. So, for each set of brackets, find the greatest common factor. For 8x squared plus 2x, the greatest common factor is 2x. Factor it out by dividing both terms by 2x to get 4x plus 1. Now do the same thing for the minus 12x minus 3. Factor out its greatest common factor, which is minus 3. This results in 4x plus 1. Here you can see that both groups have a common binomial, which is 4x plus 1. Step 5, the last thing to do is factor out that common binomial. Factor it out, and then voila! The expression now factored is 4x plus 1 times 2x minus 3. Just an FYI, not all quadratic expressions can be factored using either method. But that's alright for now, as that's a whole nother section. For now, these two strategies are the most basic to understand. The multiply to C and add to B strategy is used when A is equal to 1, and the AC method is used when A is not equal to 1. Factoring quadratics is a must-have skill when you are to solve an equation. And like with everything, practice makes perfect. If you found value with this section, please comment, like, share, and subscribe. Well, that's a wrap. All right, enjoy your findings. You deserve it. But then get to studying.